This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
China unveils plan to start vaccinating millions of people against COVID-19. Somalia blast. Government and the UN say terror attacks will not stop efforts to stabilize Somalia. And freed Nigerian schoolboys reunite with their families as government vows to do more to protect schools. Hello and welcome to Africa Live. As always, great to have you with us. I'm Richard Ntah, live in Nairobi. And for those of you joining us from across the continent and around the globe, we thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at other stories making headlines this hour. Cameroonian entrepreneur blazes the trail with green energy, cooking gas, and clean coal. And in sports, the exodus of Tunisian footballers to the Arab leagues continues. Once again, welcome to Africa Live. So good to have you with us. I'm Richard Ntah. The Somalia government says the suicide bomb attack in central Somalia targeting the prime minister killed 10 people. 3 senior military officers and 7 civilians died in the attack carried out by Al-Shabaab outside a packed stadium. In separate statements, both the Somalia government and the UN Secretary General Special Representatives for Somalia, James Swan, said the attacks will not deter efforts to stabilize the Horn of African nation. CGTN's Abdulaziz Billo reports from Mogadishu.
A suicide bomber set off explosives outside a packed stadium in the central Somali town of Galkayo, missing the country's prime minister who was scheduled to make an appearance. The blast targeted a crowd of civilians and security forces outside the Abdullah Issa Stadium, killing scores including senior army officers tasked with the security of the prime minister. Militant group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for Friday's attack. The group spokesperson said the intention was to assassinate the country's prime minister, Mohamed Hussein Roble.
I condemn the terrorist attack against our brave soldiers and civilians. The terrorist group who carried out this attack will not break our spirit. They will not stop us from creating a peaceful state and conducive environment for our people.
In the past week, Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble has been on a regional tour in Puntland, Southwest and Gelmudug to rally support for the upcoming general elections. The Al-Qaeda-affiliated group has threatened to disrupt the electoral process. In the past days, it has carried out a series of suicide bombings targeting security forces and civilians. Those killed include a senior army commander leading the fight against the militant group in central Somalia. 2 US-trained army commanders with the country's special elite unit of Danab were also killed. In May, the group killed the governor of Mudug alongside 3 bodyguards in the same town. Barely 2 months after another suicide attack killed the governor of Nugal in neighboring Puntland, dealing a major blow to regional efforts of containing the insurgent group.
As
members of the armed forces, a lot of work awaits us. The enemy of the Somali people continues to spill the blood of innocent civilians, including that of our heroes. Today, they have inflicted us with pain, but we will reciprocate in equal measure, one that they will never forget.
In the run-up to the general elections next year, security will likely remain a key focus of attention. Under the agreed election timetable, polls must be held in 2 constituencies in each of the country's 5 administrative regions. The Army, Police and African Union Force, AMISOM, are expected to secure all polling venues ahead of voting. Abdulaziz Billo, CGTN, Mogadishu, Somalia.
The Nigerian government on Friday said it paid no ransom to secure the release of schoolboys abducted from a school in the northwestern town of Kankara last week. The 344 kidnapped students of Government Science Secondary School were released on Thursday. As CGTN's Deji Badmus reports, the Nigerian government is promising to do everything possible to prevent a recurrence of abductions in schools.
The release of the boys comes barely 24 hours after Boko Haram put out a video
showing the boys in captivity to further prove it carried out the abductions. But after a tense behind-the-scene negotiation with what the Katsina state government has been referring to as bandits, the boys were finally released from the forest in neighboring Zamfara state, where they were being held. In his immediate reaction, President Muhammadu Buhari expressed delight at the way the entire operation went.
We spoke with the governor. I congratulated him and I congratulated the army that organized the the operation, encirclement of the people, of the abductors, and getting the children. The military is well trained. I think they are sufficiently motivated. The governor, I'm very impressed with the governor. He has been, up and doing since it happened, and I congratulated him that the children have been successfully recovered.
The president has now met with the boys in Katsina, promising to bring their kidnappers to justice. And for the parents of the students, this is the end of a harrowing nightmare they've had to endure for the past 6 days. In all, the Katsina state government says 344 students were released, more than the 333 it initially reported were missing.
They were subjected to hardship of traveling in the night without food, barefooted. All of them returned barefooted. They trekked from their school to where they were taken barefooted. To the parents, for those who prayed, we say thank you. Allah has answered our prayers, Mr. President, that these young men are here. And it's now our responsibility to make sure that it never happens again.
The release of the students may also have put to rest the controversy over the group responsible for the abduction. Boko Haram had claimed responsibility for the kidnapping, a claim the military and the Katsina state government dismissed. The government says bandits, who were mainly Fulani cattle rustlers, were responsible for the abduction, and there are fears they may have some connections with Boko Haram.
My professional understanding of the development is that it was bandits that carried out that abduction. Now, those bandits may have some form of association with the Jamaat al-Ahlussunnah al-Dawat wal-Jihad, which is the group headed by Bakari Shekau. But in terms of the actual abduction, I have a lot of reasons to conclude professionally that it was the bandits that did it.
For now, the authorities are not disclosing if any arrest has been made in connection with the incident. The Katsina state government has also said no ransom was paid for the release of the boys. But questions are still being asked as to how over 300 students were abducted from a school and made to trek for several miles with no intervention from the security agencies or the community where the school is located, and why the security agencies had no intelligence about the attack before it happened in the first place. Badmos, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
China has unveiled its plan to start vaccinating millions of people against COVID-19. High-risk groups will get shots in the coming weeks with Chinese-made vaccines that are moving closer to general approval. The National Health Commission says the government is prioritizing those working in the cold chain industry, customs, healthcare, markets, and public transportation. They would be the first of a step-by-step program in an effort to build group immunity. CGTN's Wu Guoxiu has more.
China has approved emergency use of 3 COVID-19 vaccines in June, 2 from CNBG Sinopharm and 1 from Sinovac. The State Council Task Force on COVID-19 says since emergency use started in July, more than 1 million doses have been administered. The Sinopharm and Sinovac vaccines have seen 75,000 vaccinated abroad in phase 3 trials, with 150,000 doses injected. One person requires 2 doses normally. That means hundreds of thousands of Chinese have received the vaccination.
After stringent monitoring and observation, no serious adverse event has occurred. About 60,000 recipients went into high-risk areas abroad for work. So far, serious infections have not been reported.
With these results, the country is planning to vaccinate larger groups this winter. Priority will be given to workers in cold chain logistics, customs, seafood markets, public transportation, disease control areas, and those who go to high-risk areas. When vaccines are approved for the larger market and more vaccines become available, they will be rolled out for the general public. But people are still being told to wear masks after injection.
It's hard to say how long it will be effective, but there is some information already. In clinical trials started this March, we have seen a constant presence of antibodies in the vaccine volunteers. Many medical institutes have also been monitoring recovered COVID-19 patients and found antibodies can be present for as long as 10 months. This evidence has shown that China's COVID-19 vaccines have met the WHO's vaccine validity period requirements of over 6 months. Meanwhile, it is still necessary for people to keep following prevention measures even after vaccination, including mask wearing, social distancing, and hand washing.
15 vaccines utilizing 5 different technologies are under clinical trials in China. 5 are in final stage human trials in countries like the UAE, Brazil, and Pakistan. Authorities say after the trials are completed, if the vaccine's performance meets the required standards, the National Medical Products Administration will approve it for market use. The government also says it's prepared for mass production.
There isn't a clear timetable for when the Chinese public can get the COVID-19 jabs yet, but authorities say health departments are preparing for large-scale vaccinations, and this winter and spring, priority will be given to high-risk groups. Wu Guoxiu, CGTN, Beijing.
Well, time now for a very short break. The very latest news from Africa Live still to come. Stay tuned. Here's a peek at the headline. Cameroonian entrepreneur blazes the trail with green energy, cooking gas, and clean coal. And in defense of female dignity in Nigerian music videos, the voice of a video vixen. Welcome back to Africa Live, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. Pierre Tankao, a Cameroonian entrepreneur from Douala, transforms coal dust into clean coal. He also uses this same dust and coal waste to produce green gas, providing affordable and bio-friendly forms of energy to households and small businesses in the city of Douala. CGTN's Tuli Shabalala brings us the details. Let's take a look.
Pierre Tankao has equipped his company with machinery capable of producing 1 ton of clean coal per day at a rate of 500 kilos of coal per hour. He plans to increase the production to 3 tons per day in the coming weeks. In addition to coal dust and waste, Tankao also uses biomass to produce the coal. It's a way for him to mitigate deforestation.
Our technique consists of recovering coal waste and sawdust, which we transform into ecological coal. This coal is of very good quality, as it has been compacted and crushed into fine particles. It contains many more particles. Its calorific density is much higher than common charcoal.
The clean coal is already very popular in households and bakeries in the city of Douala.
I really like this clean coal because it is very economical. It costs about $1 on the market. For meals, I use half the packet of coal. It is only for big meals that last for a long time that you use the whole packet. For women who don't like to cook too much, the packet can be used 2 or 3 times.
Like ecological coal, this green gas is also obtained from the carbonization of biomass, dust, and coal waste.
The idea of producing gas from coal dust stems from the fact that I wanted to offer people something cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. That's why I worked on producing green gas from coal dust. We talk about green gas simply because it comes from biomass, and it is a renewable product. I am very happy to produce green gas because the objective was to facilitate in the far north of Cameroon the valorization of all the biomass that is found in that area.
Natural gas would present numerous risks, such as an explosion following a gas leak in the presence of a heat source, and intoxication due to poor combustion of the gas and the production of carbon monoxide.
You see the smoke coming out. It's not smoke, but gas. This gas cannot explode like the liquefied propane we have in our homes. So it can be handled very easily. It can be used in restaurants, households, hospitals, or school canteens, and so on.
Today, Pierre aims to expand his business in the 10 regions of Cameroon and to train as many young people as possible in the valorization of biomass. Tuli Shabalala, CGTN.
In Uganda, a resident monk is teaching young people to embrace the values of Buddhism while trying to correct misconceptions about a religion that's widely misunderstood in Africa. CGTN's Hilary Ayasega spent a day at a Buddhist temple in Entebbe, central Uganda, and filed this report.
Bhikkhu Buddharakta leads devotees in prayer. He's the first Buddhist monk in Uganda. Raised a Catholic, Buddharakta converted to Buddhism in 1990 after interacting with two Thai monks while studying in India.
They had a beaming smile. They are very generous, very kind. I mean, just looking at them, you just feel so peaceful because of their kindness, just coming out of their heart. So I was attracted to their personality.
In 2006, Uganda Buddhist Center opened its doors to the public. Buddharakta sees Buddhism as a solution to Africa's problems.
If you're human and you have problems, Buddhism is for you because it teaches suffering, cause of suffering, the end of suffering, and the way to end suffering.
Buddharakta has so far trained and ordained 3 monks, 2 of which have moved to Asia for further monastic training. He's now grooming 5 others, like 14-year-old Nsubuga Sadarakita, the son to one of the monks at the temple.
I have learned how to become peaceful and a good person in the world who can help other people or other children around the world.
Buddharakta says Buddhism teaches practical ways to reach happiness, like being humble.
I draw from those teachings of Buddhism, which are similar to African culture, and I start teaching Buddhism here with an African flavor in Africa, because I see a lot of connection, like for instance, generosity.
The life of a Buddhist is not easy. Monks depend on the generosity of others for all their food, which can only be eaten before midday. Hours of meditation and fitness training are also part of the pathway to peacefulness. Most people in Uganda associate Buddhism with Kung Fu or Taekwondo. But Bante says this is not all. They teach them other values of humility, respect, and compassion. And it is these values that are attracting a small group of followers. According to Buddharakita, over 40 people attend prayers at the temple.
They are calm and generous to the community. Their behavior compelled me to dedicate my son to become a monk.
The Uganda Buddhist Center has set up schools and also provides clean water to the community. Buddharakta says he's now on a mission to train 60 monks in the next 5 years who will spread the message of peace across Africa. Hilary Isiga, CGTN, Entebbe, Central Uganda.
Nigerian music has gained traction both locally and globally, with a number of songs nominated for prestigious international awards. Hip-hop has proven to be an especially popular genre in the country, but the culture of hip-hop is seen by some as one that degrades women and influences society to objectify them. CGTN's Kelechi Mekalam explores that subject in the following report.
There are many sides to Rosaline Oga, who is fondly known as Alla Berry. from her entrepreneurial to modeling and acting skills. But she's most passionate about her video vixen identity, which she started 4 years ago. Her ability to interpret each role she plays in music videos earns her an average $50 per session.
Songs, when they play them, everybody dance. We all dance to it. People enjoy it. It's before that we look at it like these people are actually insulting us. But I don't see it that way anymore. Sometimes they send a song for me to like, okay, listen to the song. So I'm an actress. So like I can go on set and I act whatever you want me to act. I might not listen to that song.
The pop culture has become very popular across the globe, especially among the youth. Women like Rosalind continue to spice up videos laced with lyrics that laud materialism and gender profiling, and many Nigerian producers are cashing in on the trend.
Nigerian music started trying to be like, they want to be like their counterparts abroad. That's why our music or our videos started turning that way. And they will tell you this is what sells. So I don't know who formed that, but at the point that was selling. If you do a music video, girls are not half naked, it was not going far. And that was how it just became normal. The reason why it's flying is because it's selling. And a lot of young directors these days just feel, I must go all out, I must expose body. That's why the video must sell.
Despite the entertainment value that they bring, video vixens have seen their reputation take a hit in the society.
Sometimes people look down on vixens. They think that we are wasting our time, just like modeling. They just have this crazy idea of vixens are like, they are worthless.
Critics of hip-hop say it encourages demeaning attitudes towards women with contents that falsely promotes a larger-than-life image of a successful male who can get any woman with his material properties. However, entertainers here say it's more of role-playing than reality. For them, women are key to the success of the industry. Kelechi Emekalam, CGTN Abuja, Nigeria.